When someone stands out, everyone wants to throw in their guess as to why it's happening. And while it's already clear that Brazilian football doesn't dominate the big stages like it used to, one fact remains. Brazil is still the largest exporter of players on the planet, and our players are still sought after because they deliver immense talent and a unique style of football. Now the question is, why do they stand out? In this video, I'm going to show you one of the strongest reasons for this, something that many people overlook. We're talking about a super sport, which is also a fantastic school that has produced legends like Neymar, Ronaldinho Gaucho, Messi, Robinho, Vinicius Jr., and well, the list is endless. Come with me to understand why futsal is a fundamental piece of the secret formula of Brazilian football. If you think Brazil shines on the pitch, just imagine indoor. Alessandro Rosa Vieira, better known as Falcão. At this point, I expect you to know the guy who's called the Pelé of futsal, and that's no exaggeration. The Brazilian legend won more than 30 titles with the national team, was named FIFA World Player of the Year 4 times, and scored over 1,000 goals in his career. But numbers aren't the only thing that capture our eyes. Falcão always made sure to put on a show. Playing ball was second nature to him. He looked like a kid, pulling off dazzling dribbles and scoring unforgettable goals. But the success story of Brazilian futsal goes far beyond that. While Brazil has 5 World Cup trophies in football, but hasn't lifted one in over 20 years, in futsal, the yellow and green shirt looks even more imposing. After winning the 2024 Futsal World Cup against their biggest rival, Argentina, the team reached its 6th title, leaving all others behind. Spain has 2, while Argentina and Portugal have 1 each. And when it comes to clubs, Brazilian teams go toe-to-toe with European squads, unlike in field football. Brazil has a total of 10 Intercontinental Cup titles and 11 runner-ups, with Spain following at a distance with 8 titles and 3 runner-up. Now you've got the picture. Futsal in Brazil is massive, and that's no accident. In fact, it's the main school for Brazilian players. Why futsal is a true diamond for Brazilians. Another crucial point is that futsal is played almost as much as football in Brazil, with some studies showing it's even more common. In a country with deeper social inequality and less investment in sports compared to Europe, futsal became a way to keep football alive. Much cheaper than maintaining a full field, of course. As a consequence of this social inequality, Brazilians responded with even more talent. The famous futebol arte is a form of resistance. So even if futsal doesn't shine as much on TV, where field football dominates fan attention, in practice and in everyday life it's present everywhere, in schools, community spaces, neighborhood. But we still haven't reached the main point. What are the consequences of a sport so similar to football, yet with key differences being so widely played? If you're around my age, maybe you remember the old FIFA Street games. They're a great example of the environment that shapes the Brazilian player. Whether it's futsal, dirt pitches, or any surface at all, the mission is always to improvise. There's no rigid training, and the space is small. That's what futsal brings to the table. The American journalist Daniel Coyle, a renowned author in the field of learning, explores this brilliantly in his book The Talent Code. He points to futsal as Brazil's secret weapon. With a smaller, heavier ball, a tighter court, faster pace, and quick passing game, players touch the ball 6 times more per minute, forcing them to develop ball control, game vision, and creativity under pressure. He goes even further, saying futsal activates brain circuits much more intensely. It's like a super intensive training, a kind of football on steroids. And it doesn't stop there. Brazilian futsal training traditionally gives players creative freedom. From a young age, coaches let them make mistakes, improvise, and experiment. With so many extra touches per minute, the level of development, especially at a neurological level, is astonishing. That's the concept of deep practice. And in Brazil, it's not limited to futsal. With a culture so deeply marked by football, every space turns into deep practice. Backyards, sidewalks, streets, all of them become improvised courts. And how does this reflect on football? Well, just look at the countless examples. Think of Ronaldo Fenômeno's toe-poke goal against Turkey, which sent Brazil to the 2002 World Cup final. Or the famous Elastico, attributed to Rivellino but truly immortalized by the wizard Ronaldinho Gaucho. Where do these skills come from? From futsal. And players themselves show their gratitude for it. As Cristiano Ronaldo said in a 2012 interview, "During my childhood, all we played was futsal. The small space helped me improve my ball control. Without futsal, I wouldn't be the player I am today." And of course, Ronaldinho Gaucho himself summed it up perfectly in another interview. You get used to doing everything in a small space, and when you move to the big field, it's much easier, because you've got way more space and time. Futsal isn't just about improvisation or agility. Everyone, even us Brazilians, loves to talk about how our talent is fascinating. But let's not forget, Brazilian players are also highly intelligent. And here's why. Intelligence isn't just about IQ. It can be bodily, spatial, and much more. The fast pace of futsal doesn't only demand improvisation with the ball at your feet. It also forces players to develop a whole range of other skills. It's not enough to just run around like in field football. In futsal, you need to make decisions every second and think collectively. In other words, movement isn't random. It follows patterns and extreme tactical variation. Players constantly switch roles, which makes their mental circuits far more flexible. This way, futsal players learn about space, game reading, anticipation, and naturally develop marking skills. So when they step onto the football field, they're already much better prepared. With all that, the team becomes like a single organism, cooperating through quick passes, combinations, and razor-sharp positioning in defense. And of course, the legendary 1-versus-1 ability, so typical of Brazilian stars, is the main skill trained in futsal, much less common on the big pitch. Portugal and Spain are not far behind. If Brazil naturally produces an enormous volume of talent, with a population that is 20 times larger than Portugal's and more than 4 times larger than Spain's, what the European nations have as an advantage is a more organized and structured environment. Jamie Fahy from The Guardian wrote about this, analyzing Portugal's triumph at the 2018 Futsal Euro, when they beat Spain, the second biggest powerhouse of futsal. According to him, Portugal's victory was the result of a deeply structured national project. The country's strategy is to multiply both futsal and football practice in combination before players specialize. The journalist also contrasts English football with Portugal and Spain, suggesting futsal could be a key to changing the technical DNA of English players, physically strong but less skilled. Meanwhile, Portugal's clubs and federation invest heavily in futsal, bringing the two sports closer together to boost technique, creativity, and courage in 1-versus-1 situations. So, could futsal be the secret formula to save football? There's no shortage of complaints that modern football has become overly tactical and physical, and that it's hard to find new gems. Here in Brazil, many are always waiting for the next Neymar, while younger generations don't seem to carry that same flair as before. It's not that players are bad, but genius is missing. Even in futsal, a recent phenomenon, especially regarding the transition to field football, is early specialization. There's less variety, and players are molded too soon into fixed positions. So the question is, could futsal be a secret weapon? Could a broader embrace of the sport bring back that individual brilliance? Or is that no longer the path? And what should football be? A show, a spectacle, or just a results-driven game, nothing more? Do you like this video? So make sure to subscribe for more authentic football content. See you.